Am I really that much? And breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really to throw you up.
Hi stars! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Can you tell that I'm excited to be filming this YouTube video because oh my gosh, what a year 2025 has been. It's been such a long year and I haven't been active on YouTube, but let's get into this video. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about our holistic health. Anyone who knows me from time knows that I've always been into holistic health, looking after your body, your mind, your spirit, your everything. So let's talk about how this can actually benefit you in 2026 and what do we even mean when we say holistic health. And yeah, let's just come. This video is packed. Let's get right into it. Right, ladies, first thing we need to do is obviously we need to look after our physical health. Okay? So what you're putting in your body, okay, your food, your man, quality only. I'm joking about the second one. We need to stay celibate in 2026. We need focused mind, cleansed energy. You know that your creative energy and your sexual energy are tied together, so you don't want to be matching yourself with just anyhow. Also, like the spiritual transmitted demons, like let's not even get into that, but I'm not here to preach, okay? Do you boo? But seriously, we need to start looking at our body, going to the gym or doing Pilates or even taking a long walk, right? It could literally be anything, but we need to be looking after our body, right? And our diet as well. I am Nigerian, and that means I naturally like to eat a lot of rice. I recently switched to bulgur wheat, so I've been eating like jollof bulgur wheat and fried bulgur wheat, and let's just say like I feel less dense. And yeah, like your diet really changes how you feel. It makes you feel lighter when you're eating clean. So eating clean doesn't mean that you're starving yourself, and it doesn't mean you're only eating fruits and vegetables. I mean, if you want to be vegan for the planet or for the animals, that's a beautiful cause. Like, shout out to you, girl. I was vegan for a year, and let's just say I eat steak now. Bottom line, we don't need to go into that gist. So when we say eating clean, doesn't necessarily have to be just eating fruits and vegetables or denying yourself of food, but just staying clear of processed foods. You will be amazed how much difference that has on your mind and even how you feel. You know what I said earlier about feeling less dense. But what you eat, right? What you put in your body is what your cells regenerate on, what they build on, and that's what forms you. So yeah, let's get into eating clean. Our second health that we need to look after, the second part, is our emotional health. I have 5 or 6 YouTube videos, long form videos, and most of it is talking about emotional health because I'm so big on this. I am autistic and I didn't know, I mean I knew it was something, but I didn't really know what it was. I just knew I was different, and I only recently found out that I was autistic and got a diagnosis, and that it was just a snowball effect. It was as if finding out that I was autistic changed me for the better. I don't like when people say, oh, your autism is a superpower, because no, it's fucking not. Like, no, it's not. But knowing who I was, that level of self-awareness was able to help me pinpoint where I can, like, oh, okay, so this is why I feel this way, and this is what I can do when I feel this way, right? So having those tools to support me emotionally and help me grow and be able to manage my emotional dysregulation or sensory overload was a game changer. But why am I telling you guys this? Because I used to be when I'm dysregulated, I would literally be all over the place. I would start to just have a tantrum or a meltdown, and it would ripple on everybody around me. And yeah, you don't want to be that girl. Like, you're literally growing into a woman, and one of the most powerful things you can do about yourself as a woman to become a powerful woman is to be able to control your emotions. And when I say control your emotions, I don't like controlling your emotions. Doesn't mean you don't feel your emotions, and it doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. What it means is that you're so emotionally balanced that you can come to the point where You're just like, like, I no, of course it's not always like that. For example, when you're angry, but it's like, I feel anger. This is what I feel. This is why I feel the way I feel. This is how it's affecting me, and this is what I can do about it. Right? My CBT therapist will tell me the who, the what, the why, the when. Right? So you analyze how you're feeling. You go inwards. It's your emotions. If you can't control or handle your emotions, who else will be able to handle your emotions for you? And this is so important when you're looking to get into a healthy relationship, because you don't want to be emotionally dependent on anybody. This brings me to my third point, but I still have a bit more things to waffle about emotional health. You don't want to be emotionally dependent on anybody. You want to have this strong interdependence. I say this a lot. Men are like the icing on the cake. The cake itself is you. You're yummy. You're nice. Like, you're the best carrot cake or coffee cake that I've ever had in my entire life. You're sweet. You're so sweet. But when the icing is on the cake, it's like, oh yeah, the icing is nice, but the cake was nice anyway. This is what I mean. So this is how you want to be in a relationship, even with your emotions. It's like, I'm fine on my own. I don't need you, but I guess I could have you. Like men. Okay, this is my secret. This stays between ourselves. But men, what? Think about it. What's the purpose of men? Procreation, sexual gratification. What else? If he likes you, he buys you things. What else? Like, think about it. Men, they need us more than we need them. Okay? So, you need to be independent, babe. You need to be your own babe. You don't need a man. And for you to be able to be super independent on your own, one of the key aspects of your health that you need to look after is your emotional health. Okay? I did a video last year about 5 ways to regulate your emotions. So you can watch that video. I'm gonna link it in this video type shit. I have to always remember that not all of my audiences are actually Nigerian. The Nigerianness in me is a lot. So I do apologize if I'm dropping random slangs and you guys are like, okay, what are you on about? But yeah, my new favorite Nigerian slang is type shit. Type shit. Yeah, I'm gonna link the video for the 5 ways to regulate your emotions. If you want to watch that, please do, girl. Watch that and then come back to hear the third gist. Okay. Are you back? Have you watched the video? Did you take notes? How are you going to apply this into your everyday lives? I'm joking. This is not a test. I'm assuming if you haven't watched how to regulate your emotions, you watched it now. Or maybe you don't need to watch it because you already know how to regulate your emotions. Anyway, we're back. Okay, and we're getting to the third aspect of our health that we need to look after to become this boss babe, untouchable, body, independent woman. 2026 is a year, girl. I'm telling you. Okay, so the third thing is our financial health. So I did say earlier that you want to be independent of a man, right? And not just a man, you just want to be independent, girl. Okay, you just want to be independent, and one of the ways to be independent is to have your money. Money is power. Money is leverage. Money is the door opener. Money is a leveler. It gives you opportunities. Money is good. I love making money. They say money is the root of all evil, but you have probably worked on your physical health, so you're very disciplined, which also means that emotionally you're disciplined. And when your physical and your emotional health is disciplined, you will naturally be mentally disciplined. And my point is that with everything you do, obviously you need discipline. But don't let anybody tell you that wanting too much money is evil or being ambitious is evil. I was such an ambitious girly growing up. We grew up in the church. We just grew up in church, even though my parents were not very heavy-handed in religion. We still go to church. And I went to a Christian school as well, boarding school. And there was just a lot of stigma that came with girls that their eyes were big. They'll say, oh, you're fair. Like, you want this, you want that, and they will try and make you feel like money was a bad thing, or wanting money was a bad thing. And even a lot of sermons growing up in Nigeria was centered around being humble. Of course, it's good to be humble, but they mistook being a good Christian for being poor. Okay? So I'm telling you that there is no gratification, there's no glorification. There is literally long suffering doesn't mean that you cannot afford to eat or you cannot afford to wear nice things. Like, I'm sorry, that's not the kind of Christianity I roll with. Okay, my God, heaven is beautiful. Have you seen the way the Bible described heaven? Heaven is beautiful. Heaven is glorious. Heaven is full of wealth. Please don't let anybody deceive you. In this life, you need your money, and I'm not saying that you need to be so greedy and you need to make a lot of money, but I'm saying that you need financial independence. Okay, all that means is that you have good savings, you're investing in the stock. Girl, you need to know about the stock markets. Okay, luckily and unluckily, I worked in finance oh my God, that was 2 years ago now. Oh my God. Okay, I worked in finance 2 years ago, and obviously I had a bad experience. I did share the video how I got. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I'm so over it now. Like, that is so 2K24. Like, I'm so over it. Anyway, being in the finance space, I was able to learn a lot about my personal finance, and I can make another video going in depth about your personal finance. But my point is that, girl, you need to save. You need to have savings. I know it's so hard to save because as a girl, there's so many pretty things to buy. Like, how will a girl ever choose? But you need to be so disciplined. You can have a system that works for you. Maybe you save this month and next month you spend, or every month you make sure that you save a certain amount and then you spend. And the 50-30-20 rule doesn't work for everybody depending on your circumstance. So you need to actually have a system that works for you. And the reason why I point that 50-30-20 rule is because a lot of people think, I need to save 20%, I need to save 30%, but it's not really practical for them. And then they end up saving 30%, and then before the month is over, they're dipping into the 30% that they've put aside because they didn't have enough money, because there are other things going on. Some people cannot make 50% of their salary. Expenditure can be more than 50%. We'll get into that. Let me finish this point. Gosh, my brain is moving faster than my point. Okay, let me finish this point. And then they dip into the 30%. They're like, oh, well, I've already touched the savings anyway, so let me just keep touching the savings. And then they end up not having any savings. I used to be guilty of that. Okay, so now it's possible that your expenditure is more than 50%. And if that's the case, then girl, you need to get another job. I'm sorry to break it to you. Even me, as I am right now, I'm looking for another job. Luckily, my expenditure is not under 50%, but it's still kind of like, this can't be all the money I'm making, because where's the money to flex and be a fine girl? You know what? Like, having multiple streams of income, if you can handle it, if you can afford it in terms of your health, your time, your balance, it's a very good thing. Trust me, it's a very good thing. So if you're able to get more money, get more money. And if you're not able to get more money, work with the money you have. Find a way. But don't be hungry. Don't be hungry. Don't be the girl that can't function without a guy. If a guy gives you money, fine. If he doesn't give you money, you have your own money. You keep rolling. That's how we move. The fourth health that we need to look after. And I always feel like the spiritual is the most important, and I don't know why I don't always start with it. But it's your spiritual health, your quantum health. But your spiritual health, let's talk about spiritual health first and why it's important. I like to consider myself as a very respectful person of other people's belief. So I'm just going to say, like, this video is for people that believe in God. If you don't believe in God, I'm sorry, like, just stop watching this video at this point, because you can't have a spiritual health if you don't believe in God. What are you talking about? If I still have the attention of the believers, oh my God, what are we doing? You need to put God first. You need to get closer to God. You need to get closer to your first love. Nobody's going to love you better than Sky Daddy do. I don't think God is a man in the sky. Well, I do like preferring God as Sky Daddy. I just think it's so like girly pop. And the girls on Instagram say that God is definitely all that. And I agree. You need to get closer to God. You need to have a relationship with God. And when I say relationship with God, I don't mean like these hyper religious folks that they're always like posting about church. I'm always posting about church, so I guess I'm talking to myself. But these hyper religious folks that are always posting about church and going to church, but their behavior, the way they treat people, the inwardness of their hearts, obviously you can't see people's hearts, only God can. But from the way people behave towards others, the way they treat others, you can kind of just tell what's in this person's heart. Yeah, from the inwardness of their hearts, they're not good people. I'm not talking about that. Okay, when you're close to God, there's just a way you'll be operating where you will move with kindness. You don't be nice. Oh my God, I've made a video about this. Don't be nice, because nice people get walked all over. But you need to be a kind person. You need to be someone who genuinely wants to help people. But most importantly, you need to know God, right? If you're a Christian, you need to be reading your word. If you're a Muslim, whatever religion that you believe in, I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. But like I said, I'm very respectful of other people's beliefs. Also Yoruba, and in Yoruba culture, we believe that there is one God, regardless of the different expressions that we choose to worship God through religion. We do believe that there is one God. So that naturally, I just believe that there is one God, regardless of religion, because of my culture. I guess it's just like your culture is where you are, really, yeah. I was saying that spiritually, you need to look after your health, right? And what this means is that you need to get close to God. You need to worship. Gosh, I love worshiping. Like, have this reverence for God. Like, oh my God, you did this. You created the heavens and the earth. The beauty that we see, that we behold before our very eyes. You made that happen. So we need to have this reverence for God, this acknowledgement that God does exist and He does care about us and He loves us, and show that love back to Him with the way we worship Him and the way we treat other people. The other aspect of your spiritual health is the way that you pray, okay? And when you pray, don't be like those religious bigots. Oh my God, I feel like I'm attacking religious people in this video a lot. I actually don't mean it. I don't mean to, it wasn't planned. But when you pray, don't be hyper religious about your prayer and following the script, but actually talk to God, right? He wants to hear your voice. He wants you to call out His name. He wants to come down so you can feel the bliss that comes with His presence, right? You build a relationship with God through prayer, but also when you pray for your needs, the things that you want, make sure that your body, your mind, your spirit is aligned with the desires that you're praying for, because prayer is not magic. Prayer is not witchcraft. God is not a magician. He's not a genie. He's not just going to be abracadabra, take, abracadabra, take, abracadabra, take. No, that's not how it works, okay? Bible says faith without works is dead. Prayer without works is irrelevant. So when you pray, make sure that your spirit, your body, your mind is aligned, right? So you get to that state of your spiritual health where everything about you is just focused on what God says about you, and knowing that God loves you and you love God back, right? It's not just the things that you say, the things that you confess with your mouth, but how you portray this with your heart as well. The way that you treat people, the way that you show up to the world. You are just being a buzz babe. Like, everyone's just gonna be like, girl, you rock. So I've talked about the importance of looking after physical health, your emotional health, your financial health, your spiritual health, and I'm going to talk about this last one. And I put it last because it's important. Yeah, it's important, right? It's important. So it's your interpersonal or your relational health. So what I'm mainly talking about is basically, do you have a community, or do you just have a bunch of friends that you go out for drinks with and that's pretty much it? Or do you have a solid community? Like, if shit goes down, I hope shit never goes down for us, but if it does, like, do you have people that will pull you back up, that will sit with you, that will support you, that will talk to you, that would just be there for you? And are you someone that is there for people as well? You can't become a powerful woman without having your community around you. You need to have a community. That's number one. Now, the second point, sub-point under your relational health is more around how your boundaries, right? How much do people have access to you? How do you show up as the best version of yourself? The version of yourself that is true to yourself. How do you protect the value that you bring to your community? And the truth is, there will be messy people out there that will try to look for your trouble. Now, the secret is to make them think that they are going to find your trouble, but to make sure they never find your trouble. So basically, never go out of character for anybody, but always just let people know that you're not one to be messed with, right? So that's sub-point B on that relational health. Now, I'm just going to wrap it up by saying it's very important that as you're working to become this powerful woman that you want to be in 2026, this powerful girl. You can't mess with this girl. Like the girl that you're becoming, no one can mess with her. But it's important that you need to know your values. You need to know who you are. I did a video last year about knowing who you are, your identity in God, your identity in Christ while you're on earth, but also your gifts, your talents, your passions, your creativity. See, all of these things are very important. You need to first know who you are to be able to know how you're going to show up in the world, right? And how you show up in the world is essentially what builds that power within you, but also within your selfhood. So for you to show up physically, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, even financially, you need to first know what you're doing, right? It starts with knowing what you're doing. In 2026, I pray that as we are embarking on this journey of becoming this powerful boss babe woman, that God will continue to enlighten us, will continue to direct us. It's very, 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 very sweet. Life is very sweet when you're leading in the direction that God is putting you through. You know what it is when you're struggling, you're trying to do everything by yourself. I've been there, it's horrible. But when God is sort of leading your path, He just changes how you approach life, and it changes how you even have the strength, the mental discipline to be able to want to look after your physical, to be able to want to look after your emotions, to be able to want to look after your finances, to even want to have faith, right? So everything first starts with just surrendering to God. I feel like I talk about this a lot in my video about surrendering to God, but really, just taking life like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I have like goals, but at the same time, like, what would be the day, you know? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.